Greetings, greetings, greetings.
Hello, hello. Another episode.
Yes, welcome to Earth School Journey. We are back with another weekly episode. We are starting a new month, which is amazing. So we have a new theme of the month, and today we are doing our homeroom check-in. So this is just a little bit different than how we have done it for the last few months. We decided to switch it up just a little bit. We felt like, doing the homeroom check-in first would be a good way to go, a way to set our intentions, to give gratitude for the previous month and for the upcoming month, to share, celebrate each other, to share any announcements that we have coming up, for the month, and so on and so forth. Really just set the tone, you know what I mean? Homeroom, from my recollection way back when I was in school, it was always about setting the tone. And so we thought that it would be a really good idea to start the month off with our homeroom check-in. And so this month, for the month of October, our theme for the month is going to be spiritual harvest, from struggle to grace. And again, we'll have a weekly live. We'll do our homeroom check-in tonight. Next week we will go into the topic of harvest and allowing. The following week we'll dive into worthiness and really take a deep dive and make sure that we are open to receive everything that has come out of the diligent work that we've done in the previous month, which was our discipline and our spiritual hygiene. And then we'll do our study hall where in the third week where we'll share some resources and tips and just books and content creators, spiritual leaders, peers, and all that good stuff. And then to wrap up the month, we will be having a special guest, one of the founding members of our accountability circle, our dear sister, Finesse Graves. She will be joining us for a roundtable to really, discuss her spiritual journey. And, we'll also ask her some questions about the topic and, what life on Earth School has been like for her, and what is she harvesting right now and what she has going on. She has some amazing things that she has been doing, and we're really excited to talk to her later on this month. So Umi, how is Earth School going for you today? Let's just start there.
Yeah. Our school's been interesting lately. There's been a lot going on. Good, lots of good, but also challenges, coming up that were unexpected or that are repeating, some of those things that make you go, I thought I dealt with this. But I think this month that we did on spiritual hygiene has really made me more attuned to a lot of the good, despite some of, the things that are coming at me at the moment. And so, yeah, it's a journey. It's definitely a journey. Sometimes it feels like it's uphill, and then sometimes you're just coasting right down. But yeah, how about you? How's it been lately?
Yeah, same. I feel like there have definitely been some things that, have been coming up, and I'm like, same, I'm like, why am I still going through this? And obviously, I still got some lessons to squeeze out of it. I still
Right.
have some learning to do. And, there's just been a lot going on. We were chatting a little bit earlier about, just everything that's going on in social media with the government and just everything that's been going on. And the energy just really feels heavy. You know what I mean? Like I've been feeling heavy. I had a good cry today. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, but overall, I'll say that, I am grateful because I'm definitely, just not where I was before. And even though I may have similar things that have been coming up in my life that I would love to have had dealt with and, been way beyond, my mindset is different now. That's the most important part. Like I'm coming from a different perspective,
Hmm.
and that's the most important thing to me. There's things that I didn't feel the way I felt previously. It's like, the gravity of some of these things. It's important to really feel, what you need to feel, in my opinion, so that you can move past it. I think maybe that's a big part of it, that maybe I haven't, that's what I was sitting with myself. It's just like, okay, I need to ground and feel these things so that I can really move beyond them. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey, but I am so 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 grateful for it, overall.
Yeah.
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 So, to start off with our homeroom check-in, we like to start with our monthly intention, right? So, this month again, we're talking about our spiritual harvest. We're going from struggle to grace. We're going from, climbing up to, to seeing the view, to taking in the view, to coasting, to surrendering, to receiving. You know what I mean? And with that being said, Umi, what would you say, overall, how would you put that into your words, as far as an intention for this month?
Oh, I think the way I see it, as as to put it in the form of an intention, is I intend to be open to receiving, uh, with grace and with ease.
Mm,
You know,
I love that.
because we always feel like we have to struggle, and I don't want to keep struggling. I don't want to feel like I always have to fight for it, so that when it feels good, I feel like, oh well, I'm not struggling anymore, so nothing else is going to come. I don't want to be in that mindset. And so, yeah, I intend to receive and be open to receive with ease and grace.
I love that. That's absolutely beautiful. And I have a similar one. I know, earlier I was thinking about, just surrender, which is similar, but a little bit different. You know what I mean? Just letting everything go. you
Right.
know, everything that's weighing me down, everything that is, kind of getting in the way. And if I had to put it into just like a quick sentence, I would say, that I am allowing myself to be worthy of receiving
Mm,
more.
yeah.
Um, we I could there's so much I could say about that, just to put it in a nutshell, just knowing that the way that I grew up, without going too far into it, is, I just never felt like I was worthy of receiving more. That was never poured into me. That was never, I was never nurtured in that way. I was nurtured in the way of, just you need to be grateful for what we give you, sort of thing. And I'm grateful. I'm very
Right.
grateful.
Right.
But, I feel like I can allow myself to see myself in a different way and know that I deserve more and I can have more. So, yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love that because I think when it comes to worthiness, I think that blocks a lot of the receptivity. I feel like worthiness, even if you feel worthy of having your needs met, you may not feel worthy of having more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not feel worthy of more responsibility, like more, and so I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, really.
Hmm.
It's knowing that when I do more, of course, in, with grace and with love, with intention, when I'm not struggling, but when I really allow myself to, do more with the gifts that the Most High has blessed me with, yes, I receive way more. So, yeah, it's like
Right.
the allowing and, taking more responsibility is really key in there too. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next we'll do our gratitude roll call. What would you say you are grateful for this month?
Grateful. Well, I'm definitely grateful to be getting started on, getting our house built. That has been a big thing, like wanting more space and wanting to be on our land where we can grow food and herbs and really be more in tune with nature. I think this idea of receptivity and harvest has been a block, so I'm really excited and grateful that we are talking about this month because I feel like it's gonna blow open some blocks that I have. So definitely really grateful that we are talking about this now. And I don't know, I've had conversations, we've had conversations about receptivity, but I don't know that we've gone that deep. And
Oh,
oh, yeah, just I don't know if you heard the last thing I said. It kind of went out.
I just heard you don't know if we've gone that deep, and that's when it cut out.
Yeah. So I was saying I didn't know, if we had gone that deep in those conversations. I don't remember going that deep. So I'm really excited that we're going to go deep on it this month.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm so happy for you all that you're getting moving forward, getting your home built so that you can actualize your dreams that you have.
Mhm.
There's so much that you all will be doing, and I'm so excited for y'all, like, for real.
Thank you.
um
How about you? What are you grateful for this month?
whew, I think I'm just grateful to be in my right mind right now. Like, you know um there's just so much that I have come to realize over, like I said, over the past month or so. Just things that I realized that while I was going through them, if I had known how deep they were, how bad some of them were, like, I probably would have lost it. You know what I mean? And and even now, to be reflecting on a lot of things, I just know that I'm just grateful to be in my right mind and not be leaning on substances or any of that, and with everything that's going on in the world, I feel like I know what I'm supposed to be doing, you know what I mean, which is this, which is, just sharing light and sharing just good things, sharing good energy. I'm grateful to still have a grateful and a graceful heart. So yeah, I'm really grateful to be in my right mind. It sounds funny, but it's so true because it's just, I mean, just thinking of some things, like, I mean, I'm grateful to not be depressed, and you know what I mean? Like, there's just so
Right.
many things that I'm just like, wow, like, I'm not I'm not like down in the dumps or anything like that. Like, yeah, these things are tough. Like, there's some tough things that I'm processing, but gratefully I'm still here, and I'm still showing up, and that's the most important thing for me.
Yep.
Um, so we did an intention. I was thinking we could still do an affirmation, like, we set our intention for the month, but we can still, share an affirmation that maybe we will kind of like lean on for the month. Do you have anything that you'd like to share?
An affirmation. Well, I feel like affirmations and intentions, they need to align, right? And my intention is to receive um with grace and ease. And so I feel like the affirmation really is, I'm open to receive with grace and ease. And I don't want to be repetitive, but really that's what you need when you're doing this spiritual work, is just the
Yes.
repetition. Like whatever avenue you're trying to open up, you just gotta, you have to keep working that until you get that groove. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. I think we lost you again, but I do know exactly what you mean. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I might drop out for a sec. I'm gonna switch to a different to my hotspot because apparently this country internet is.
Yeah, there it goes again. So while we are waiting for Umi's stuff to drop, oh, did you do it?
Yeah, yeah. Just because it's giving me a lot of trouble, and the hotspot is like always the short thing. So there we
Under,
go.
un-
Hopefully
uh,
no more issues tonight.
awesome. So I'll say for me, and all, I agree 100%, and that's why I was like, even though I know like they can be similar, I definitely wanted to keep an affirmation in my back pocket, you know, to
Yeah.
roll with me this month, and just simply for me, it's I am worthy. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I'm worthy, and just keeping that in mind when I'm in spaces that try to, or, you know, that, you know, seemingly even try to, you know, that I want to shrink myself in, or maybe I want to choose, you know, to abandon myself, or, you know, placate other people's feelings at my own expense, or anything of that nature. Just remind myself that I'm worthy of good things. I'm worthy of, you know, good relationships. I'm worthy of being considered. I'm worthy of people being kind to me. I'm worthy of,
mm,
you know, consideration. And I don't have to be anywhere that I don't receive that, you know, and
right.
that's been a big thing for me is, you know, not staying in places that are, that don't accept me for my fullness. You know, I'm worthy in my wholeness, and I'm gonna have that with me this month. And so you know, to kind of piggyback off of, or veggie back off of the concept of, I remember when I was with the vegans, anytime I said piggyback, they'd be like, no, veggie back. So I try to say both of them, whatever, you know, we
I
adding
love
on.
it. I love it. We're all
It's
inclusive over here.
having different languages and being able to connect with different people is a blessing. It could be a lot sometimes. So um I wanted to say, I wanted to think about like our like, thinking about earth school. The concept that keeps coming to me is like a toolbox, but I'm really thinking about like maybe like our pencil case or our book bag, or like, you know, like what else are we going to carry through this month with us, you know what I mean? And when I think about, you know, where my mind is going, let me say, I'm thinking about any specific herbs or oils or teas or books or anything. I know we're going to share resources later on in the month, but are there anything, you know, that you can think of that, you know, you want to carry with you this month, as you are, you know, we're in harvest season, we are in this
Mhm.
receptivity mode. What do you think? Does anything come to your mind?
Hmm. So what's in my pencil case? I think um gratitude is the thing that's coming to mind immediately, is staying in gratitude even for things that I don't yet see.
Mm,
You know,
mhm.
even for things that I'm in the process of manifesting, you know, knowing that they are there. And I feel like the best way to know that something is coming and to receive it well is to be in gratitude even before it gets there. And so gratitude is the first thing that's like coming to mind. I kind of wish I had looked up some herbs and things before this, because I would have had some things available, like that I could think of. My go-to for everything is holy basil, because I feel like in order to calm the nerves while you're waiting for something that you want to have some peace.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll say holy basil about anything, so don't quote me on that.
Love holy basil, which
Me
also
too.
Tulsi. I have it in tincture form. I have it in tea form. It really is like a universal you know what I mean, one of those things that helps you spiritually and physically,
Hmm.
I remember it being kind of like one of the first things I learned about when I was learning about herbs and things of that nature. One of the first things my teacher brought up was like holy basil, and everybody was going to get holy basil tea, and it was just like
Yeah.
the in the group on Facebook, and you know what I mean? It was definitely a thing. So I concur with holy basil and gratitude as well. Gratitude keeps us in high vibrations.
Mm,
It keeps our mind on what we have versus what we perceive to not have. You know what I
right.
mean? So important to, think about what you have so that you are, staying in that high vibration. Sometimes I don't think people understand how important it is to stay in a higher vibration. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't think
Yes.
people understand how much you can really manifest easily. You can really make a difference and really have a positive impact, not only in your life, but in the life of people around you when you stay in those high vibrations.
Hmm.
I have this quote that just came to me one day where I was like, can God trust you in the driver's seat, or do you let your demons take the wheel? Do you let your lower vibrations take the wheel? And I think it's so important for people to think about, in terms of anybody that you come into contact with, anybody that you come into relation with, they're basically in the car with you. You know what I
Right.
mean? Basically riding passenger seat, and maybe sometimes they have the wheel, sometimes you have the wheel, sometimes you're in the passenger back seat, whatever. But
Hmm.
regardless of what, when you are in high vibration, you are really helping to keep everybody on a positive level and in on a good accord. And gratitude helps you stay there. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like a secret key that I really don't think people think about. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I love that you put that out there, and I'm gonna put gratitude in my pencil case too.
Yeah. I have one more something that came to mind while you were saying, about staying in this high vibration is and this is probably something we can keep in our toolbox too. It's the oath of manifestation.
Yes.
There's a line in the oath of manifestation towards the end where it says, I keep myself in high consciousness no matter what the appearances are. And like how critical that is to
Mm-hmm.
manifestation and allowing and receiving and staying in that high vibration. Like I'm grateful for the house that I can't see yet. I
You know,
am grateful. Yeah, like so that's awesome. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to, like, it was right in line with what you were saying. I'm like, yes, 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 that stay in high vibration, stay, up there.
yeah,
Um, but
yeah.
yeah, so keep going. I'm sorry.
No, no, thank you so much. It's so funny you mentioned the oath. Like I was driving today and I was saying the oath, like bits and pieces of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I love that you brought that up because I don't often say it like I used to when we were doing it every day. But
Hmm.
today it definitely came up to me. So I love that you brought that up. No.
Nice, nice, nice.
Is there anything else that's in your pencil case? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
But
no. No, you didn't. I didn't really have anything else. I did want to point out that I asked in the chat if anyone had an affirmation or an intention to share. And the affirmation that is in the chat says, "My mind is stronger than my flesh." And I
I love
love
that.
that.
Thank you
Yes.
so much
Yes.
for sharing that.
Yeah.
What is the username?
Vanessa Sandy.
Thank you so much, Vanessa Sandy, for sharing that. That
Yeah.
is so important. Like it is so important.
Yeah.
our mind rules everything, and we have to really remember that, wherever we are in our minds is where we are in the world, really.
Right.
So I love that so much. And keeping our flesh under control, be it by what we eat and drink and, our habits or anything that we engage in, is so important. So thank you so much for sharing that. And
Mhm.
yeah, thank you. That was beautiful. I wanted to add one more in my toolbox on top of what you had. Hyssop. Hyssop has been coming to me so much lately.
Wow.
It is a great spiritual cleanser as far as, a tea. You could put it in your bath. You can make a tincture. Um, I think people have made tinctures with hyssop and holy basil together. I've seen them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
For clearing out your respiratory, and there's other organs that it helps with as well. And it's one that it's kind of been, how something's just been calling to you. Like I have some
Yeah.
hyssop, over here, and I have some yarrow as well that's been calling to me, and so I may use both of them in this season, just to keep my immune system strong. Look at is that Owen?
That's Owen. Always active.
Yes,
Trying to steal the show.
so funny. Cameo. Uh, but both of them are really great for respiratory and keeping mucus and keeping your lungs clear and all of that good stuff. And they've just been coming to me recently. Like I feel like they've been calling to me. Like I have tea on my shelf, and it's like hello. And so I feel like I need to, tap in with those two this month. And so I want to add that to my
Mm.
pencil box. And now that I think of it, I also bought downstairs Sister Finesse's. She makes an oil. Let me just grab it really quickly. Oh, it's called Talitha Kum.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, this stuff is powerful. She has olive oil, rue, ylang ylang, orange blossom, and this blend is created to help you with obedience and prayer for anointing and clarity and alignment. And I'm telling you, when I have worked with this oil, I'm telling you, I have definitely felt just this sense of release and clarity. And
Mhm.
I'm the type of person, like I like to save I have oils for like ever. So I don't use all my oils up. But I've had this for maybe a couple of months now, and I feel called to use it this month. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's another thing that'll be in my pencil case this month. All right.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right.
I just want to say, I love that you are being receptive to the calls that you're feeling, and that you're mentioning those things because that's a big part of being, of harvesting is if you can't harvest if you're not receiving the messages to do whatever it is that's going to bring the things into your, and they may seem, you're like, I don't know why I'm thinking about this oil. It just crossed my mind, but to acknowledge it as a call to use it. I think deserves recognition. And, because that is something that I know I struggle with is hearing a call and going, it's not that important. And so not doing that thing or, you know, whatever it is, and then regretting it later, going, had I done the thing.
Mm,
We talked about this recently where it was something I can't remember. I still can't remember what it is. I know my wife is probably watching right now. We both thought the thing, like to do the thing, and didn't do the thing, whatever it was. I can't remember what it was. And then later on, after something happened, she said to me, I thought about doing this thing. And I'm like, I thought that same thought too. And neither one of us had moved on it. And it's like, and she was like, yeah, real interesting that we both had the same thought and neither one of us acted on it, and we should have. And so that is huge that you're hearing these calls and these messages and you're acting on them and really recognizing them as, calls that spirit is putting on you to move in that direction. So yeah, I just had to acknowledge that because that's awesome.
Thank you so much. And I agree. Like there's, today I felt called to go walk in the park, but I didn't do that. So I mean, I don't answer all of the I don't answer all of them, but I definitely try when I can to make sure
Mhm.
that I'm doing the thing. And who knows? The day's not over. Maybe I'll take the walk when we get off of here.
Yeah.
Um, so one of the things that I wanted to share were just a few, journal questions that could help, with this month's topic, spiritual harvest from struggle to grace. And the first one is, where in my life have I been struggling or striving, and what has it been teaching me? You know,
Mm.
thinking about that, in terms of, like you said, thinking that maybe um you may had some blockages that were coming up from some of the things that you wanted to receive, and it's like, were you struggling? Were you, you know what I mean? What was
Mhm.
said around those things? Like really journaling around that. Number two is, what blessings or harvests have already come from my efforts, even if they're really small, sometimes we want the big thing. We want the grand finale. We want it
Mhm.
all, you know.
Right.
But really thinking about, those small steps are really important, and they really help us to, just keep going, because like you said, it's about the journey. It's not about the destination. And I
Right.
love keep reminding me of that, because I'm very destination minded. Like, are we there yet?
Mhm. I can be too. Very much so. Yeah. I want the result.
Right, right. I want the harvest already, but
Yeah.
as having a homestead and working, with a garden for a few years, there are stages that
Mhm.
everything goes through, and really honoring that is so important, not just in the garden but also in our lives.
Right.
um Number three, how do I personally recognize grace when it shows up in my life? you know
Mm.
um thinking about that a lot lately, because there's definitely, even though there's been some hard times, like I'll say, like, there's, nothing's perfect, but I'm grateful for the grace that has shown up, even during difficult times, and even with difficult people. You know what I mean? Like, it's a blessing. Number four, what would it feel like to soften into receiving instead of pushing or striving? um I think that's really important to, really envision ourselves in that space of,
Mhm.
being soft, of being receptive, of being, like you mentioned the other day, in our feminine energy, which is the reset,
Yeah.
you know. Do you have anything to add on that?
Oh, no, I don't really. And this being receptive and the feminine energy is something I really want to explore more because, as much as I consider myself feminine and all of that, I have realized in the past year or so exactly how masculine our feminine is right now.
Mm. Out of,
you know.
you
Yeah.
know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just because the world has become so masculine. Like I when we were just talking about being, destination oriented, results oriented is something that is praised in the
Mm-hmm.
corporate world, in the outside, oh, well, what's the results? Like if it's not getting results, then why are you doing it? Or, you know, faith is not really praised. It's not given any credit. It's not. And so faith is really a feminine thing. It's holding on, to things not seen. It's that receptivity. It's that knowing. It's not, you know what I mean? And I really, as far as reflection questions and like journal prompts go, like I really want to, I want to like dig deep into that. So I'm excited for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, Number 5, where am I being invited to trust the timing of my season?
Mm,
You know, like I was
yeah.
looking up hyssop earlier, and I was like, is hyssop even a herb for this time of year? Does it still harvest in, like, September, October? Because I was really
Right.
wondering if how aligned, even though you can drink the tea at any time, but I just wanted to know. And I thought about that, just how certain dreams, certain goals have different timelines. You know what I mean? You may not
Mm-hmm.
the house, the car, the business, the everything up and running at the same time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe this comes first, maybe that comes first. You know what I mean? Like, and really trusting yourself to be in alignment with the divine timing of your life, and as well as the blessings that you're receiving. So,
Right. Yeah.
um, how can I celebrate the growth I've already tended to instead of focusing only on what's next? That's pretty masculine, like you said.
Random.
Right. That's pretty masculine too, I think. Like you said, like the whole results oriented thing. Like, okay, this is done, so what's next? Okay, I achieved that,
Mm-hmm.
so what's next. You know what I mean? Do you take the time to relish in your achievements? Do you take the time to appreciate, give gratitude, celebrate? You know what I mean? Celebrate your harvest. I have never really, been involved like in a traditional harvest, like from a homesteading or farm like atmosphere. But when I think about, you know, traditionally what, comes to my mind based on what I've seen and heard, in the past is, like I can even think of when, last year when you harvest so much, you had all these tomatoes and all these cucumbers,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I'm sharing with my neighbors. I'm doing, it's like a celebration,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you still have more things to harvest. I'm sure you were probably going into planning for the winter season and all of that stuff, but really taking the time to enjoy and express gratitude for what you have harvested, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important. We just live in a world where it's kind of like nothing is ever enough almost, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Definitely. I can definitely appreciate that, and I see it a lot, particularly with our kids.
Mhm.
Kids in general now, like they get what they want, and then they don't even enjoy it before they're asking for the next thing. And it's not just the kids. I don't want to say that it's just the kids, but that's where I see a lot of it. I've seen it in myself. I've seen it in, you get that thing, and oh, now I got to work on the next thing.
Mhm.
Well, I haven't even played with this toy yet.
Right.
I haven't even, broken it in real good. Why am I on to the next? I haven't appreciated it. I haven't been grateful for it yet.
Mhm.
So that's really powerful.
Yeah, thank you. And then finally, what resistance can I let go of so I can allow abundance to flow more freely?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
for me, like I said earlier, like sometimes I think about how I would be in environments that were healthy, and I would leave the healthy environments to go to an unhealthy environment. Like I was
Mhm.
resistant to a good harvest and running towards a not so good harvest, and
Mhm.
even still to this day is something that I still have been working on, because again, I've lived my life like that for so long. It's something that I have to constantly remind myself, am I being honored, and am I being, considered, like, what, how do I feel, does my stomach hurt? That's like a telltale
Right.
sign there.
Yeah.
And so letting go of the resistance, because I was kind of like born and bred and nurtured to, feel kind of unworthy. Letting go of
Mhm.
resistance, it's really been, it's like part of my life's work. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm always be, doing checks and balances for that,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I feel like resistance for me is a big thing. And my resistance tends to show up as unworthiness, a
Mm-hmm.
feeling of I haven't earned this, a
Mm.
feeling of I haven't done enough. I haven't done it properly. I haven't done it perfect. That's how resistance shows up for me. So I'm really going to enjoy working through these journal prompts. Um we definitely need to put those in the description after the show so that people can have them.
Yeah, yeah, you know me. I'm always coming up with something out of the clear blue sky. I wasn't You wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
No, but it's cool. We're flowing with it. Okay? We move by the spirit.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. Um, so next for our homeroom check-in on the list, I have celebrations. Do you have anything to celebrate this month? Is there any, I mean, I know you say you're working on getting your home. That's coming in. You're, grateful for that. Are you celebrating anything this month? Is there anything, any milestones that you've reached or anything?
Oh, when you say celebrations, and well, for October, um, my celebration for October is always my grandmother's birthday is in October,
Mm.
and let's see, it's been 21 years this year since she passed, but I always put coffee out for her on my altar. So that's what I'll be doing. Her birthday is October 16th. And so I always put coffee out for her. It's just something I started a few years ago was making her a cup of coffee the way she likes it,
Aw.
and just leaving that for her and celebrating her on that day. That's my big celebration in the month of in the month of October. Oh, and I'm a big Halloween freak. Like I love out of all the holidays, I love Halloween. I feel like it's the time when I get to be the most free,
Mm.
to dress up, and I am literally the same thing every year.
What's that?
I'm always a witch. I'm
Oh,
always a witch because my kids tease me that I'm a witch because I mess with herbs and I make potions and stuff.
oh yeah.
That's what they call them. So, you know. So every year I break out my black and green stockings and my witch hat and I sit out on the porch and hand out candy because
I
because
love it.
why not? It's fun.
It is fun. I love
What about you? What you celebrating this month?
this month. I know, my little brother, it's his birthday this month. So I try to go visit him every year on his birthday. He lives in North Carolina, so we'll see if I can make it down there for his birthday. Um, and For me, I'm really excited about, this just the season of October. You know what I mean? I'm just really excited about, Scorpio season coming up and just all I always get such deep insights and downloads and
Mm.
insights to myself and just things that help me grow during the season. I also experienced a lot of different changes during this month. Last year in October, I was laid off from my job that I was at for 17 years. And, a whole year being out of corporate America, I want to celebrate that. To me, celebration like a month.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely be, just expressing gratitude that, all of the lessons that I learned and all of the, great people that I came into contact with, all the ups and rounds, and, how I really, I showed myself a lot of strength that I didn't know that I had, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, by sticking certain things out and just learning certain things. And, I learned a lot about myself. And not too long before I got laid off, we had did like one of those personality tests, like like not the Myers-Briggs or maybe the DISC personality test or something. And I was like, I was so floored by the results that I got, because it basically told me that I'm like in the middle when it comes to using your left brain and your right brain. Like I'm like,
Mm,
I really take everything into consideration. I'm a little bit more right brained, I would say. That's the creative side, right? So I'm a
right.
little more right brain than left brain, but I'm like just barely over the line. And so, that was a celebration for me, because I've always been seeking stability like outside of myself. And
Mm-hmm.
like it was kind of showing me that it's the stability is within me. You know what I mean? So
Right.
really
Right.
great revelation that I had before, not too long before getting laid off. And it's something that I'm always reminding myself when I feel however I feel about, living in this world, because most people are either or, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so like kind of like holding that balance. So I'm gonna be celebrating that as well. And just making sure that I'm continuing to lead into that. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
October is an interesting month. I'll be looking forward to it. um, we did our announcements already earlier at the beginning, so we don't need to go over those. I think we're kind of like wrapping up here. Are there any more texts in the chat or any more comments or anything like that?
Not right now. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that has to do with harvest or kind of moving from this place of struggle to grace and you want to talk about it in the chat, now is the time. We have a few more minutes before we wrap up today. Um, I know I'm really looking forward to diving into this conversation next week. I've already got some things brewing in my head from things that I would love for us to really talk about and dive into. I know the first week that we really have these conversations, it's really kind of broad and overview, and then the second week we'll really go deeper into the conversation. um, what's been coming to me as we talk about this is braiding sweetgrass. I don't know if you've read the book Braiding Sweetgrass, by what's her name, Robin Kimmerer. I can't remember her last name, but anyway, she wrote. There's a book called Braiding Sweetgrass, and it's about Native American culture and how they treat the land. And there's a part of that book that every time I read it, I want to cry, and it's called The Honorable Harvest. And so I'm gonna bring that book with me next week so that we can talk a little bit about some of the things that she talks about in there and how to go about an honorable harvest. And gratitude is a big part of that, and acknowledging, and she's obviously talking about plants and how we interact with the earth, but I would love for us to talk about how to extrapolate some of those into the spiritual realm and manifestation, and just like the broader concept of harvesting our good, and going from struggle to grace, and recognizing abundance for what it is. Abundance, it's always there, you know. So definitely excited about this conversation. I'm excited for what it's going to unlock in a lot of people's lives as they join us on this journey and this conversation. I'm excited for what it's going to unlock in our lives. Like, what are we going to harvest this month? What's Earth School Journey gonna harvest this month? Like, how is this, going to play out? What are we gonna manifest? I think there's a lot here. And I'm just excited to really focus on this, on the receptivity and receiving of grace.
Yeah, me too.
Hmm.
Thank you so much for that. I'm definitely excited for this month. I feel like I said, I have definitely allowed certain things to go because for whatever reason, didn't feel worthy of it. No, you can have it. No, you can go. You can you know what I mean? Just tell, just
Hmm.
give what was rightfully mine sometimes. And
Yeah.
just, with the spirit of generosity, you know what I mean? Like there's a difference between being generous and, putting yourself last, you know what I mean? And really, I think a lot of people, there's other people out there like that who would, definitely benefit from that conversation as well, from this month. There's so much, even that's going on, with the government and things, and they're taking so many things away from us, like our God-given rights. You know what I mean? Are kind of like
Yeah. Yeah.
being debated by, people, and it's like,
Hmm.
I have a lot of thoughts around that as well, and just like how, you know our harvest, in a lot of ways have been stolen from us, a lot of,
Mm.
not
Hmm.
only have we given certain ones away, but a lot of them have been stolen from us as well. And
Yeah.
just thinking about, what can we do, how can we, really know that we are all worthy. Just because we don't have high profile positions or whatever, that doesn't make us any less worthy than the next person. A
Hmm.
lot of people are, they're supposed to be government servants, they're supposed to be serving the people, but instead they are, stealing. And I don't
Hoarding.
tangent about
Yeah.
that. I just think that there's just so much that, it has to start within so that we can see it without. I don't believe that we're supposed to be struggling out here. I don't think life is meant to be as hard as it has been. And the only way that, not only are we going to change that for ourselves, but also for our children and, the ones that, our grandchildren and so on and so
Hmm.
forth, is if we really start to wake up and know that we are worthy of more and we deserve more. And, we don't have to settle for crumbs because these people have decided that that's what they think we deserve.
Yeah. Yeah. I have another comment in the chat. Vanessa says, I want to work on giving myself grace through this thing called life. There's so much struggle in life at times, but I don't want to be in that space anymore. I want to allow ease in my life. And this goes along with just what you were just saying. That's why I was like, oh, perfect timing to read this. We don't we talked about this in our very first episode about how, we don't have to necessarily struggle all the time. Struggle is going to be there. Obviously, it has things to teach us. But like we've been learning from struggle for how many thousands of years? Isn't it time to shift this idea of there needing to always be struggle in order for you to get anything? So I'm excited for this month. We really are going to deep dive into this idea of grace and allowing and receiving and worthiness. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Just you saying that, I take a deep breath at those words. I'm just like, yes,
Hmm.
we deserve it. Yeah, we deserve it. We deserve to live a good life, a healthy life, a wealthy life. There's so much abundance around us. Nature is abundant, and we are a reflection of nature. So why should we be struggling? you know
Right.
um why? I
Hmm.
don't. All right. So that about wraps it up for what I have. Do you have anything else before we do the collective prayer?
No, no. Ready to pray us out if you want me to.
Yeah, I'll thank everyone so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you for those of you who will watch the replay. Thank you, Vanessa, in the chat. Thank you for your comments and your contribution. I wish you ease and grace, and I pray that you know that you are worthy of all good things. Thank
Yes.
you for joining us here on Earth School Journey. We'll be back next Wednesday, same time, same place. We'll be doing our discussion on, as Umi said, our discussion on grace over struggling, and we
Yes.
have a lot more to share with you all. We're really looking forward to it. Um, Again, like, comment, share. Let us know, how are you moving from struggle to
Yeah.
grace? What are you harvesting this season? We'll be sharing a link to the journal questions that I shared during the live, so that you can, maybe tap in with us, and, really go through this journey with us this month of
Hmm.
harvesting. So, I really look forward to your comments. And again, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to my wife who is always present on our lives.
Love
I know
you.
she's at work, so she can't really comment a whole lot, but she's there and she always is always
Amazing.
there. And I just want to send her some love and appreciation for always being of support to us. Yeah,
My
that's
sister.
great. Yes. All right. So let's just take a minute to turn within. And as always, start in gratitude and how grateful I am for this day, for this breath, for the beauty that is this life, this journey. I am so grateful for Uni and her willingness to be here with me on this program, to answer the calls and to, just be present. And in that gratitude, I recognize the truth that there is one power, one presence, and it is this presence and power of source, which is the supply of all that we need, the source that is grace, this grace that allows us to receive and does not rely on worthiness. And I just know and recognize our oneness with this power, this presence, that I am one with this power and this presence, that Uni is one with this power and this presence, that everyone watching this program, that we are all one in God, one in this power and presence of abundance. And so I bless us all. I bless us knowing that abundance is flowing in our life, that we are receiving and open to receive all that we need and all that we need for this mission that we are on to share this love and light of God. And so I simply say, Amen, and I let it be.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen, amen. Yes, thank you, everyone. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week with a deep dive on harvest.
Bye, everyone.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.